Hi everyone, welcome back into Prime Time. It's time to ring in the new year. What do you think, Doc?
Good time to do it.
It certainly is. It's our first show back for January 2022. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly, and with me is my husband, Dennis Kelly. Do you know that we are upwards of 200 episodes?
That's incredible. I would never think that was possible.
I know. How can we talk so much?
I know. Well, you talk.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
You're the talker in the family.
Well, welcome in, everyone. Happy New Year. I hope it's been very good for you. We're looking forward to a very high upswing for 2022. Enough said on that. I think you know where I'm going. Read between the lines. But honestly, we do have those choices. It is a choice on how we're going to live our life as best as we possibly can. You know, people are always asking us, how do we do what we do to push through life? Especially when crazy things happen in life, you know, the hills and the valleys. Well, we're going to share some of the things in this show. We always try to add a little something new and different, maybe a new discovery for you. But before we do that, I just want to congratulate my husband once again for pushing through way back in 2016 when you told me that you were going to come back out of retirement a sixth time and hop into the ring no matter what. Nothing was going to stop you. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
What made you
reminded me?
Tell me, what made you do that?
Well, because at the time I was really struggling to be my best because of Parkinson's disease.
Right.
And I noticed that when I was assuming like I was going to fight in the ring, that my training was much more motivating. So I did it to give me a platform to let people know that even if you have a life-threatening disease, that you don't have to pretend, or you don't have to
feel like it's a death sentence.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about things that might not even apply to what health and fitness is. Because sometimes you get into something because of ego. Mm-hmm. And mine wasn't to get more trophies. I had enough of those. We had to give half of them away.
I know there's no room.
Place to put them.
There's no room. In fact, my grandson renamed our so-called office or man cave to the trophy room. So we have a little clip, first time ever, that we're sharing it with you on Prime Time to show what my husband was able to accomplish coming out of retirement one more time. Let's take a look.
Dennis Kelly is pushing 80 years old and still loving life, even though life isn't as easy as it used to be. A difficult disease has slowed him down, but it has not stopped him. 10 News reporter Bobby Lewis back out on the road in beautiful Newport Richey, where a man continues to fight and win.
Feeling fantastic.
The gym has been good to Dennis Kelly.
I know, that's why I married him. Besides, he was so cute, I picked him up at the gym.
Did you?
Yeah.
The gym gave him his wife and an appreciation for life.
I can do things now that I couldn't do when I was younger.
A life that changed 3 years ago.
I didn't want to know he was sick, so I kind of swept under the rug and went in my own corner and cried, and he went in his corner and cried.
See, I still have the tremors, not as bad as they were. And I can live with that. You know, because with Parkinson's, Usually you lose your muscle strength, flexibility, all those things go. Mental acuity goes down the drain. So we've been managing to overcome those things.
His workouts have helped slow down his Parkinson's symptoms, and so does his competitive drive. He's won big before, but 3 weeks ago, Dennis challenged himself to do something he's never done.
It was the 43rd World Martial Arts event,
where 5,000 of the top martial artists in the world came to compete. And at 78 years old, Parkinson's and all, Dennis won.
But this is the first time I've ever won a first place at the U.S. Open. It's been my nemesis. For 25 years I've been competing all second and third places.
and everybody said, if anybody can lick this, Dennis Kelly can. And he is. He's not 100%. He may never be, but he's back from the black hole. He's living life and living large.
And now he has a larger-than-life trophy to prove it.
Being that I've won this with Parkinson's disease, if I can do this, anybody can do anything. Inside of all of us is a champion ready to come out.
On the road in Newport Richey, I'm Bobby Lewis, 10 News, WTSP.
So there you have it, just a little clip from Channel 10, and I know that always warms our heart when we take a look at that, and the reason why we're showing that is because this is the year we are totally letting our hair down. We're going to share a lot of the behind the scenes, the hills and the valleys that we've both been through, yes, both of us, so that we can give you hope for better tomorrows and making better choices in our lives and doing the very best we can do to stay on top.
It takes effort, but the effort is well reserved for something even better later on, because you're either going backwards and we're either going forward in life. There's no staying the same. Change is going to take place, one way or the other. So how you engineer the approach to the change has a lot to do with how successful that change will be, how happy you will be.
That's right.
How healthy you'll be. You all have control, believe it or not. Nobody can control your thoughts. Thoughts is one of the most important words in the English language, any language. And then make a sentence that thoughts are things. So when you keep thinking that way, that you can control your body by controlling your thoughts, you control your association with people by controlling your thoughts, and deciding what movie do you want in your life.
That's right.
Life is like a movie.
It is.
And you either are a part of the movie, a character in the movie, or you're a director of the movie. The ideal situation is to be the director and the part playing whatever part you want in life.
And that's pretty much what you've done.
Yeah, because most everybody, somebody else is directing their movie.
That's right.
Life is like a big movie. You can have an exciting movie, you can have a bad movie. You control that, not somebody else outside has control.
And you know, when I think back, Hun, to when you were saying I'm thinking of coming out of retirement and competing again, I thought, oh dear God in heaven, is this really something that we want to do? Because we're a team, we're a partnership. But I knew that it was such a passion of his because we have a passion to help people. We feel like we are two people with hearts on fire to just let loose and let you know that, you know, life isn't always a bed of roses, all right? I think we all can say that, but it's all of what we make of it. And I swear this last couple of years for everybody has a story. And our story is to keep pushing through. People are always asking us, what is it? How is it? How do you push through all these things? Well, I would love to say that it's simple, but it's really about learning. It's that learning curve in learning how to master different components of a system that has been proven and that works. And it's what you developed, or were in the process of developing when I first met you 26 years ago. And it's a system called Tri-Neurogenics, using the mind as the map, the body as the vehicle, and the spirit as the fuel. Those three components, once we learn to master those, it allows us to empower our lives, and it leads us to the master of life. And we're always learning. We never have it down 100% in every area, right?
Right.
And we always have to keep reminding ourselves and reminding others, you know, watch our self-talk. We actually covered that last week about our self-talk and engaging in more positive conversation, but sometimes it's not always that easy. That's why so many times we go back to the heart mastery, and how to manage your emotions through living a heart-centered life. And I am so grateful that you taught me that. And I had a little challenge with that in the beginning. I couldn't figure out, was I coming from the head or was I coming from the heart? And believe me when I tell you, when I came from the head, it was always it wasn't the good choice that I could make for myself. I wasn't in the right lane. And that's what we're talking about today, is being in the right lane, not right political-wise, not left, that in the correct lane that works best for us every day in every way. Does it take a little work and commitment? I'll ask you that. Mr. I hold 6 world titles in the martial arts. Congratulations. Did you not have to discipline yourself?
Absolutely. But the way you discipline yourself is not to think about, oh, this exercise is going to be difficult, it's going to be hard. I don't know if I can do this, and my body can handle it. You can talk yourself out of anything.
Mm-hmm.
The key thing is to talk yourself into the situation, develop a passion, realizing that by being healthier, by being more, how would I say it, more in tune with your body and taking those things with serious compassion, that the best gift you can give a loved one is to be a caring person, and the best gift you can give to a loved one is be the best you can be, so they don't have to worry about you, and you can be the best you want to be, and that helps you help them, and then it helps them help you. So it's like a vicious or good cycle. You can take the bad side, you can take the good side.
Right, comes right down to choices. Choices of what, and the other thing is how to make those choices. Because if you're coming from the head and you're thinking from the head, you're not in a frequency to be able to really make a good choice. At least that's what we've found. Everybody has their own little way of doing things and all. We're just basically here to tell you what we're doing, because people are always asking, what do you do? What do you do? First thing in the morning, a day with the Kellys, when we wake up in the morning, we're right with prayer and meditation. It's the first thing. I listen to Joy FM. I listen to Dr. Charles Stanley, and have for many years, even since I was a kid. And it's just come back in my life so much more deeply, and I appreciate it even more now, because after the last couple of years, I think there's been more of us getting on our knees more often and saying a prayer to our Heavenly Father, you know, to just help us through so many different setups that we find in the world, and we live from the heart, and that's what gets us through living a heart-centered life. You know, you have a good story to talk about when you became certified with Heart Math Institute. That's where we get all of our information, all backed by science, a lot of the testing that was done. Why don't you share with the audience real quickly, what caused you to go to the hills in Boulder, California?
Well, I think it was a series of things that come from a family that's very disruptive, and my coach used to make fun of me because I was such a lousy athlete, and also I wanted to get rid of the paradigm that I'm not able to do certain things with the without the Parkinson's disease. I don't let that get in my way. I try to find the good in everything. What could be good about this? Before you do any venture, ask yourself, what do I have to believe? What do I have to feel good about? Because those are the key things. Thoughts are things, remember that. So be careful what you're thinking, because you might have it if it's not good. And the thing that leads to happiness is most people are happy when they get something that they want, but then to measure the happiness after you've got it is the important thing. A lot of people they're happy when they get it, but they don't like to keep it, because Sometimes it might be exercise, it might be building relationships. The thing is, what of those things profit you the most so that you can give to the people that care the most to you to be a better person? The best gift you can give someone is a wonderful feeling when they're around you.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, and how when they leave you, they feel good inside because you made them feel good inside.
Yeah, how do people feel when they walk away from you? Have you made them feel good or have you made them feel bad? That's a wonderful thing, is giving people to feel better about themselves, not just about you. It's about you and them. I remember when I first got into martial arts and really got into ballroom dancing and competing in both, I used to ask myself, so what is the biggest reason I'm doing this? Is it because of my own ego? Those things, the ego went out soon after I become successful in business and in the martial arts. So that's my biggest secret, is not so much a secret, is thoughts are things.
And when you're thinking in the right terms, it helps to raise your frequency to help you make more intelligent decisions. At least that's what I've found. So you have been a life coach with Heart Math ever since 1996, which was when you were writing your book.
Actually, I was doing business with them in 1992.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
It was 1992.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because that's when I had started home shopping, and shortly after that, that's when we met.
Right.
Right, and so I can't even begin to tell you what a difference it had made, and the different. How do I want to say it? I was kind of being used as a test case while my husband was writing his book, The 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth, and he was trying this Heart Math Institute and applying it to me. I got it after maybe 3 or 4 times. I didn't get it right away. And then you use the light and sound machine on me, the
Electroencephalographic.
Yeah, I can't even say it.
Design.
Yeah, and that worked. That helped train my brain so that I could get away with less sleep, so that I could do my shows on HSN through the night and actually be focused.
Right.
So those were a couple of the things that we did way back in the day. But there's also, fast forwarding it to what we're doing today, we're still doing all of that. Remember, the mind, body, spirit, all known as TNG. And you were writing that book before I met you, but then when we met at the gym, I went on the program. And all these years later, can I do better? Yes. I don't like to perspire, so I don't like to get hot exercising. That is my least thing that I like to do, as you know. But my husband, on the other hand, every day, in every way, he does something. Even after your surgery, back in, when was it, June of last year. As soon as he was able to, we had Eric come to the house, and he actually built a protocol based on my husband's martial arts drills. And it's amazing how you've come back since that. And I'm just so proud of you. And to be able to take what we've learned and use We Beam TV with Primetime to share some of these tips, even if you're tuning in for the very first time today, we hope and pray that you'll pull something, one little thing from the show that you can apply for 2022. Now let's talk about something that we never do. Never. This is one thing we never do. Is make a New Year's resolution.
What do we never do?
Make a New Year's resolution. We
That's
don't do
true.
it. We don't do it. It's just the way we feel about it. We'd rather set goals. We'd rather set up intentions because it connects the mind and the heart. Whereas how many of you yourself, myself included, you self included, has ever kept a resolution for the new year? Have you ever kept one? No.
No.
Because we feel like it's almost like setting ourselves up for failure. But if we set goals, some people may say it's the same thing. What do you think? I like goal setting.
Well, the big thing about goal setting is when you set a goal, you need to get passionate about the goal. If you
Yes,
don't have the
sir.
passion, there's no way in heck that you're going to be able to make that goal successful. You got to change. Because if you don't change, the goal is going to change, and you need to be the one to help with the change to guide it in the direction you want to go. Unfortunately, most people, they expect, when they hear about how to do goal setting, they expect if you write it down, forget about it, you're going to make your goals. Chances are you will, but not as quick and as fast and as dramatic by being able to use that director movie routine that I mentioned earlier.
Exactly. We use that a lot in metaphors when we're doing training or workshops or just one-on-one coaching. It doesn't matter. We're even doing coaching just by throwing some one-liners out there on Facebook or when we're talking to friends. Recently, we've had several friends come to us that are really having some challenges in life spilled over from last year. And so we kind of like take them under our wing and just share what's worked for us, right? I mean, it's a way to mentor the very best we can. And then, of course, the last Monday of every month, we bring on our Women Unscripted. We're all life coaches, and we just share things that seem to work. And I was glad that we were able to put the piece on showing where you were back in 2016. Step back into that ring, you were already a winner, just stepping back into that ring. Well, it's no different than the ring of life, right?
That's right. The ring of life, the ring of happiness depends upon how you want to control it.
That's right. That's right.
There's one of my favorite sayings is, when going gets tough, the tough get going. Winners never quit, quitters never win. I try to keep those passages in my mind and my body, my existence, because they help keep me going in the right direction. You can choose. I'm trying to remember this one of my favorites. Would you rather take and pay the price of discipline, or would you rather pay the price of regret? Discipline weighs 10 pounds, regret weighs 100 pounds. So you can see the discipline, there's more that you have to do in controlling your thoughts and feelings, but the end result is worth it many times over. Because, like I said, the best gift you can give somebody is the feeling of contentment and
That's
happiness.
right. That's right. That's so true. And also leading by example for your family. Oh, gosh, kids are so observing. Just when you think they're not listening, they're not paying attention, and then a day or two later, or maybe the next family gathering, out it comes. It's like our brains are like a video. Everything's recorded. Especially with kids, they don't forget anything. And I know when I tested my grandson out, it was February 14th, almost a year ago, this year, when I tested him out with the Heart Smart Kids Adventures from Heart Math Institute, which I'm licensed as my husband. And I thought, if he would give me 5 minutes of his time, I would be thrilled. I would be elated. Well, we went on the pad, and he started it up, and he looked up at me after 5 minutes, and went back to it, and looked up at me after another 5 minutes, 10 minutes. He went 35 minutes, and let me tell you, it was probably the most effective 35 minutes, because it all comes from teaching them how to love and live from the heart at a child's level. So if you ask JD now, what's your superpower? L-O-V-E. He says it every time. So now he's asking me, what's my superpower? And it really is, because when you come from love, it makes a big difference. And if you were to follow my husband as what he went through at Heart Math Institute, they hooked you up to different modalities, right? And they showed what happens when the brain sees things like seeing something really negative. What happens to the heart? The heart knows before the head.
Yeah, there's the same crystallized cells in the heart as in the brain. And the heart has 60 times more bioelectrical power than the brain. And a lot of people don't know that if you learn to access the knowledge of the heart, your success in life, regardless whether it's being with the sports, with money, it doesn't matter. Anything you want to do by using this principle, you can do it, and do it with less effort and more fun.
I'm glad to hear you say that, because there's more people now getting more interested in learning about the energy field. And we've been understanding this for many, many years. Yes, our kids make fun of us and all of that, but we're okay with that because it's a real thing. We're energy.
That's right. Well, the Asians that are in the martial arts, the ones that I've worked with and known, some of the most physically, mentally, and emotionally fit human beings on the face of the earth. And they all have, the ones that really are successful, they simplify it in a sense which at first may seem complicated, but it's very simple. They think more of each cell. What do I do to make my cells healthy, to make my spirit healthy, to make my mental thinking healthy? What do I have to do? What do I have to use for dessert as far as doing that? Oh, dessert spelled backwards
Is stressed.
is stress. You beat me to it. I was going to dramatize that.
Oh, okay,
That's
sorry.
all right.
Did I burst your bubble? I didn't know if you're going to remember it or not. I know. It's the real thing. Now, I just forgot a good point that I was going to bring up for you and forgot that.
Right. Well, it's like a ring of fire. The fire is the passion. Show me somebody who doesn't have any passion in life, and they're going to grow old really fast. Show me somebody with passion, with enthusiasm, always picking goals that help them better themselves. That person is going to be a lot more fun to be around, number one. They're going to be much healthier, number two. And number three, you're going to be able to get other people healthier and feel better about themselves. And to me, you know, it was so great when I got my first 6-foot trophy years ago. It was taller than me. And I felt so good about it. And after doing that many, many times, I began to think differently. For example, at first it was all about me. I want to do this so I can be this. And it was all about me. And I was using people to get to my goals in a legal way, but it could have been much better at the time as far as the passion. But then slowly it developed the understanding of what the Asians were doing. They were looking at each cell as a happy cell. They would think of the body as energy rather than a flesh and blood instrument. And when you start thinking the body as energy, and anything you can do to improve that energy, everything else works a lot better. Going to the heart, thinking good thoughts, being good to people, having people when they leave your presence feel better about themselves is a 1, 2, 3, exhale good thoughts. Exhaling good thoughts, inhale good thoughts. Mm-hmm. That's what I meant to say.
That's very, very profound. I just remembered what I wanted to say, talking about energy, and you're talking about cells. Yes, we are energy. And it's important for us to feed our energy at a cellular level. Is that correct?
Yeah, if you don't have energy, there's something going wrong in the body. We are meant to wake up in the morning feeling energy,
yes.
Go to bed feeling energy, relaxing feeling energy or relaxed energy. But the key thing is you've got to be persistent.
Persistent and disciplined. Persistent and disciplined. And I tell you, since we have been changing our food menus and things like that, I just want, people ask us, what do we do? Okay, so one of the things that we do, okay, we're up in the morning, we do our meditation. I have a little book that my friend Kathleen Lamb gave me, I think it's been 3 or 4 years now, and every now and again I'll post a daily little scripture on Facebook. And it's called Jesus Always. You can get it on Amazon. It's a very inexpensive little book. But I feel like it was written just for me. Every day I read that. Whatever the read is, I just feel even more so on some days rather than the others, a very deep feeling. And I picked a book up for you as well. And I know you're reading it along with me. First thing in the morning is what we do because it kind of jump starts the day.
I learned many years ago by a very intelligent woman that was my dance instructor, teaching me ballroom dancing to compete. And I learned so much from her on what we can do internally if we decide to do it and become a champion, become a winner.
That's right, that's right.
Enjoy winning, not at other people's expense, but at your expense. In other words, when I say expense, that's a good thing, because we give to get. We get to give.
Oh, I like that.
And then above all, we forgive.
Yes, exactly. Our acronym for Life Mastery: love, inspire, forgive, and enlighten. And that is what we try to live for many, many years. And that was really not our idea, that acronym. I'm woken up almost every morning by the Holy Spirit giving me these little clues. And it's taken us years to pull our program together after my husband really fine-tuned the trineurogenics using the mind as the map, the body as the spirit, or the body is the vehicle, excuse me, and the spirit is the fuel. It just makes a whole lot of sense. And speaking of the fuel, I started this drink that is a very high-powered protein drink with power foods, high-power foods, and it's got all your amino acids in it. It has anything and everything you could ever hope for in one protein drink. And that's one thing that I've started to do, and either my husband makes it or I'll make it. He always makes it better because I get it all lumpy and everything. It doesn't go down as well unless it's real nice and smooth. And the bananas and strawberries and blueberries, those are all antioxidant fruits. You will feel a difference. So we're not making any claims to cure or diagnose or anything like that. It's a protein drink. We need protein, right?
Right. And we need it because our body is a high percentage made out of protein.
Yes, yes.
And we need to replace those cells. Every second, millions of cells are born and millions of cells die. And you need to keep that balance, the proper balance.
Yes.
You need to have more cells being built than dying.
Right, right. And the other thing is we brought products on, and we'll do that this year too, and show you what we're doing, and it's up to you if you want to run out to the store or order it or whatever. But we have found that if we are doing things consistently through our discipline, you'll see and reap the rewards. We've often said for a number of years, taking care of ourselves can help to prepare us to go up against different things in our lives. Different things, whether it's diseases out there, whether it's something that, like you with the P word, we're trying to not even give it the energy of spelling it out. And it's amazing. You're going to be 84 in 3 months. 84.
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe that.
And I mean, to see him give a seminar or anything, you can go 8 hours giving something from long-term memory from long ago. He still comes up with things that I've never even heard before. Either that or I don't remember it. But pretty much. And it just does my heart good to see that you are a walk your talk example, and you were for me as well. Because as you recall, when I came over to the athletic club, I needed some help working those overnights and going against my circadian rhythms and caregiving for my mom during the day. I had to sleep 5 hours in the evening so I could go on the air from 3 to 6 in the morning and take care of my customers there and be an inspiration, motivator for them as well, just through a 3-hour show of shopping. And it worked. They still contact me on Facebook, which is really kind of fun, and we just never stop doing TV. And I also want to always look, if you can, and I know sometimes it's hard, to look through the lens of gratitude. Every single day, in any way you possibly can, thank God through the day, what you have and not what you don't have. I really had to learn that, because with so many crazy things and changes in life and death and divorce and all of those things, so many different concept changes throughout a day. You've said that before.
Yeah, things are going to change. The big key thing is, are you benefiting by the change?
Yes.
And a lot of people aren't, because more people are, in percentage and research, are more negative than they are positive.
Yes.
Because the inclination to study that type of thinking is that we were born a pessimist to survive, but then somewhere along the line, if we want to really be happy, we have to change that pessimism until something much greater, and reverse it and become an optimist. The reason that there's more negative people than positive is we were born with the more negative than positive, in a sense, because of the fact that we can control it better when we have a reason, not just for ourselves, but for someone else. Give you a little example. One of the happiest days of my life, and most successful days of my life, was not when I won my first 6-foot trophy. That was exciting, that was great. But it's when I saw one of my students, the first one that I've ever saw, become a grandmaster through me, and also be able to really realize the importance of what I taught them. So they were the first of my many, many students that end up with successful businesses, with successful sports. I tell people, if you follow my pattern, it'd be impossible to succeed. There's no way. And somebody might say, well, what if you get like you are with Parkinson's disease? I'm not unhappy. I'm not any more unhappy than any time. I'm actually just as passionate, if not more, because now I have to work a little bit harder. A person with Parkinson's, sometimes they have trouble tying their shoe, or putting on their shoe, I meant to say. And so the key is, once you understand that energy can be controlled, and Parkinson or fibromyalgia and all those things are not a death sentence. Find out what you can do to utilize that to your advantage. I found out that it takes a little bit more effort, more time.
More patience.
More patience.
More
yeah.
patience.
Being married to Barbara, I've
More
got
patience.
a lot of patience.
Did I say more patience?
Yeah, you sure did. You got it before I got it.
More patience and more understanding, and I am very proud that through my prayer asking for that patience, dear Lord, sweet Jesus, give me patience right now. I need it. Thank you very much, and it happens. And like I say, you know, behind the scenes, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes in anyone's home. And we all do the very best we can. Well, maybe sometimes we don't. I know I haven't. Last year, the year before, I'm going, really, God? Okay, I got it. I just got to work at it a little bit harder. Yeah, especially when you're married to the modern-day Jack LaLanne or Rocky, and you see things happening, especially when we were on the dance floor. How many years ago? And I was told I was off beat. We can laugh about that. That was the start of the P word with my husband, when he couldn't do an ocho or a corte the way you were supposed to do it. But guess what? He ended up being able to do it. We are back on the dance floor, and we're going to continue to dance and continue to learn, because that's what we love and that's our passion.
That's right.
Don't you find that when we're creative, we're just so much happier? It's the passion. It's our passion. I was reading, and one of our passions is to dance. And you probably know that if you've ever shopped with me on HSN before, or if you ever tune in to the shows. But it's funny how we learn things from our childhood, too. And I read my Papap's diary the other day. I think I mentioned it to you.
Right.
It was so sweet. And he was writing in there, oh, Babs, he called me Babs, his honey girl. He said, you get out on that floor when you hear music going and you're just dancing like a young little colt. And he would give me advice back then. That's energy. And I've heard you say that when we do our heart lock-in from Heart Math Institute, you can actually create that same energy, that same feeling from when you were a child, from when you're a teenager, and you put this. I want you to explain that, because I don't do as well as you when it comes to explaining that. You put those same chemicals in the body. How does that happen? How does that work?
Well, I'd like to interject a little something to sort of, how would I say it, to give credibility to what you're saying. There's a lot of way you can develop credibility from what you've been saying. The thing, it's like how positive negative work is very, very funny in a sense. Let's give you a little example. Two people are walking in the park holding hands, all right? And they're really happy and they're laughing, and then it starts pouring rain. What do? They love it. They're getting wet. They hug each other. It's raining, and we're going to dance in the rain.
And we do.
And yeah, and now if they walked into that park negative, they just had an argument negative, they walk in that same park, they're not holding hands, and also it starts raining, they start cussing and swearing the guy, and the gal just turns her head in disgust, and they try to run out of the raindrops, and it doesn't work too well. So that's why those things make a big difference over a period of time. Helping people help themselves is one of the greatest feelings in the world. And you're not always going to make money doing it. It doesn't matter. You're getting something more valuable than money, and that is good peace of mind, ability to help people without destroying your own dreams and wishes and things like that. One good thing is look in the mirror and say, do I love you? And really, I don't mean loving like a
narcissist,
loving gold or loving silver, but loving yourself. That's the key. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. You can't love God. Can't love you can't love the spiritual universe. You can't use that for your success. You have nothing helping you. When you start doing things from love, enjoying it, enjoying other people's happiness. That day that young man got his 6-foot trophy was one of the happiest days of my life. There were tears in both of our eyes. That is what life is all about. Am I unhappy because I have Parkinson's? Hell no, I'm not. Am I happy because I have it? Yes, I'm happy, but not because I have it, because what I can do with it. If other people see, well, if he can do that, heck, I can do it too. That is my crowning glory, so to speak.
That's right. And it's not always fun to deal with it, but we do, because we come from love, and it makes all the difference in the world. It truly does. Your attitude. Perception is a word that we use quite a bit in our training, because, oh my goodness, if you can just learn to perceive from the good side of it, rather than a negative side, you'll train your brain. You'll retrain your brain to do that. And it works. It truly does work. Because I know I've had my challenges to work on that with some of the this and that's that go on in life. Oh my goodness, I realize we are less than 15 minutes away from closing our hour today. But you have been really making some wonderful points about what it's all about. And it takes me back to one of my morning podcasts with Dr. Stanley. He goes on right around 5:30 Eastern time every morning. It's Joy FM. I listen to it through the day. That's my favorite choice of music. And let me tell you, there's a lot of really good spiritual songs on there that not only delivers messages, but has great beats. And I dance with Jesus in the morning, okay? I get those songs coming on, waiting for Dr. Stanley coming on. But he did this one piece in addressing material things. Now, we all know material things are fun and good and this and that. I feel like when we go through life and we look back to those material things, you know, a big house, a new car, or this or that, I think about when we did a coaching session at our house about all that, and I asked my ladies, we've shared this on Women Unscripted, if you had all that, all those material things, would you be doing what you're doing right now? And it was a very profound question that I had no idea it was going to be so profound. But Helena, one of our amazing women and unscripted women, she shared her story, and we'll have her share that again when we have time on our Women Unscripted show. But Dr. Stanley was making the point of, I don't want to downplay wealth. Wealth is good. You don't have to worry about paying your bills. You're not standing in the food stamp line as a single mom or dad, right? It's a good thing to be wealthy. But the wealth, we ask ourselves, is from here. That's where it is from, day in and day out. And he was saying how there are a lot of very wealthy people that truly aren't happy because they don't know how to be happy. It's like you were saying when we started the show, oh, I'll be happy when I get this, great relationship, or I'll be happy when I get that brand new car, and this and that, and it goes on. But ask yourself, in the last couple of years, how has the last couple of years affected you? Have you found a deeper relationship with our Heavenly Father? Are you still looking and searching and looking for that perfect relationship? There's no such thing. I'd love to think that our relationship is perfect, but perfection is only a direction. Right, champ?
Well, that's for sure, and the key thing, there wouldn't be anything to have fun about.
Exactly. I couldn't pick on you, and you couldn't pick on me. The best part that I get picked on, and this is true, if my husband doesn't like something that I said or did or whatever, it happens, I get the dad look. And that's all I know, all I need to know. He never raises his voice. He never puts me down. It's always from love and understanding and his humility. This man walks his talk 24/7. You do?
Well, I have to. You beat me with a whip if I don't.
No, the bamboo stick. we've got two of them.
Well, one thing I forgot to mention, another example, or you could use it like a metaphor. When two people are walking in a neighborhood that they used to live, these two people fell in love there, that's where they used to live, then what happens if they walk in a neighborhood negative for whatever reason, all the negative things from that neighborhood that happened over a period of years are going to come back in the subconscious and conscious mind.
Yeah.
That's true. There's a lot of research on that. That's why if you walked in that neighborhood that you used to live and think of the good thoughts, all the friends that you made, and all the things that are positive, your whole life will take a different turn for you. It's like getting in the center of the road and staying there rather than going over to the side or left of the traffic.
I love it when you share that story. And you know what also came kind of moving to something that happened to us this past year, talking about, looking through the lens of gratitude. Just when you think that miracles aren't out there, they are. Believe in them. Believe in chasing your rainbows. Believe in miracles. Because when my husband was in high school, he had to get married.
At 16.
At 16 years old. And really fast forwarding, this year, we were both able to meet Gary. And Gary, if you're watching out there, it was such a wonderful experience, and we're hoping that you'll be back again here, maybe the end of this month or next month. But you met your son Gary after 66 years. It was the most phenomenal meeting. He's just like you. He's like a clone.
Yeah, that was the weird thing. He was so much like me, it was scary.
Scary, yes. And then 8 years ago, he met Gary's sister, Cheryl, and that was after 50-some years. And I'll tell you, his kids are both accomplished artists in their own right. Cheryl happens to be an award-winning artist. She paints nature and brings it alive for us. And Gary does the steampunk art, phenomenal artwork. And he's a champion. He's a champion like you.
He's a world-class athlete, even more so than I am. But the biggest thing about Gary is he is strong in the heart.
Yes.
I couldn't have done any better if I would have been there every day with him to teach him and get him to be what I want him to be. No, he did it on his own. And if there was ever any interconnection from distance, which I believe there is, that certainly helps the situation too.
And you've been talking to him just like you did with Cheryl when you first met on the phone after you had Lyle. Lyle, if you're out there, hello. Another lens of gratitude to Lyle Sharman for finding your kids. But you talked to them on the phone, and to listen to the most purest conversation. He talked, and it's okay because they know that they're on speakerphone, because I stop what I'm doing. It's almost like meditation. They talk about such goodness. They don't talk about what's going on in the world. They are as focused. They are laser beam focused. Cheryl with nature, and Gary with good eating and competition. And Cheryl takes good care of herself as well. And you weren't even there for a number of reasons, which we don't need to go into. But did you ever think that you would see those kids ever again?
Never did I. Because when she left, there was nothing that I could find that would give evidence where she was.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just gave up on it.
Yeah.
And finally I started realizing, listen, I'm not getting any younger.
Yep.
And I think what I'll do is I will take, and what's the word?
Manifest?
Add it to, what's the bucket?
Add it to your bucket list. Is that what it is?
It was the bucket list. Yeah,
Yeah, the bucket
all the
list.
things you want to do before you die.
Yeah, yeah.
And one thing was to find my daughter and son. And it took a long time, took a while. And the biggest thing that I was, not expecting, but was surprised, is that they were so much like me. They had the same mannerisms.
Oh, absolutely.
I think because my heart went out to them over distance, I believe that helped the learning. Not that I'm trying to take any credit, but they were in the same mindset as
Yes,
I. We were on the
yes.
phone for a couple hours every time from many times.
It's crazy. It's crazy good. Crazy
And
good stuff.
Not hardly any negative, no politics, none of that stuff.
Nope, none of that.
It was beautiful talk. It was educational talk, but yet we weren't holding an educational system. And in some ways, they even were further developed than I am, as far as in successful traits and things like that.
Well, I had to bring that up because it's been such a great time discovering those two miracle children that are now back in our lives, and you received a card that was addressed Dad and Mom. And that just brought a tear to our eyes. It's just so exciting to see all of that.
And you know the key word here? The key word that made our relationship successful, the key word that made our relationship very successful was forgiveness. They forgave me for not being a true father to them. They didn't harvest any resentment. In fact, they supported my beliefs and my love for them by the way they treated me, their father, that wasn't there when they needed him.
But you are now, and that's a good thing. It's almost time to close our show. And having shared what we've shared with you, Rob, do we have time to show that clip in case somebody tuned in late, or are we running too close? If you can, we can go to it. Yeah. Okay. In case you missed it, we decided to put this clip up for the first time. Now it's the second time in this hour as we launch and celebrate the new year for 2022 for us and for you. We'll be right back.
Dennis Kelly is pushing 80 years old and still loving life, even though life isn't as easy as it used to be. A difficult disease has slowed him down, but it has not stopped him. 10 News reporter Bobby Lewis back out on the road in beautiful Newport Richey, where a man continues to fight and win.
Feeling fantastic.
The gym has been good to Dennis Kelly.
I know, that's why I married him. Besides, he was so cute, I picked him up at the gym.
Did you?
Yeah.
The gym gave him his wife and an appreciation for life.
I can do things now that I couldn't do when I was younger.
A life that changed 3 years ago.
I didn't want to know he was sick, so I kind of swept under the rug and went in my own corner and cried, and he went in his corner and cried.
See, I still have the tremors, not as bad as they were. And I can live with that, you know, because with Parkinson's, usually you lose your muscle strength, flexibility, all those things go. Mental acuity goes down the drain. So we've been managing to overcome those things.
His workouts have helped slow down his Parkinson's symptoms, and so does his competitive drive. He's won big before, but 3 weeks ago, Dennis challenged himself to do something he's never done.
It was the 43rd World Martial Arts event.
Where 5,000 of the top martial artists in the world came to compete. And at 78 years old, Parkinson's and all, Dennis won.
But this is the first time I've ever won a first place at the U.S. Open. It's been my nemesis. For 25 years I've been competing all second and third places.
And everybody said, if anybody can lick this, Dennis Kelly can. And he is. He's not 100%. He may never be. But he's back from the black hole. He's living life and living large.
And now he has a larger-than-life trophy to prove it.
Being that I've won this with Parkinson's disease, if I can do this, anybody can do anything. Inside of all of us is a champion ready to come out.
On the road in Newport Richey, I'm Bobby Lewis, 10 News, WTSP.
So I thought you guys would get a big kick out of that. Pardon the pun, right?
Very good. That slipped right in there, didn't it?
Yeah, that was not planned. That was quite an accomplishment back in 2016. And now my husband, rather than getting back in the ring, although I know he would love to and would and could if it wasn't for his right shoulder from a bad injury that's, I think, has cropped up, saying, no more.
Well, that wasn't an injury from karate.
No.
That was an injury playing softball with the old farts out. And yeah, well, they're all old. So, anyway.
We got to say our goodbyes on that one.
I was reaching for a fly ball, and I did a backflip, ended up on my rotor cuff, and that messed it up bad. And instead of going to the doctor when I should have, I tried to straighten it out myself by hanging on a fence. And
of course you did. And we have 24 seconds
so
remaining.
anyway, I still can use it, but I can't compete anymore because of that injury.
Well, you're still the man, the myth, the legend. We've got to get a shirt for Gary now. So we're closing out for now, and hopefully we'll see you next week. And all goes well for some surgery you have to have, just a little outpatient on Wednesday. Say a little prayer for us. I know everything's going to be fine. We'll see you next Monday, same time, same place.